In the small town of Maplewood, where everyone knew everyone, Jake and Jessica were seen as the perfect couple. They were high school sweethearts, married for 7 years, and their life seemed picture perfect. Jake worked as an architect, while Jessica, a talented photographer, had recently launched her own business. They lived in a cozy house with a garden, where they often hosted gatherings with friends and family. But beneath the surface, trouble was brewing, and it would soon come to a head in a way neither of them expected. Jake's world began to unravel one fateful evening when he found a series of text messages on Jessica's phone. The messages were not just flirtatious but explicit, leaving little to the imagination. Stunned and heartbroken, Jake confronted Jessica that night. Her reaction was a mix of defensive anger and casual indifference. "It was just a fun thing," she said, her voice devoid of remorse. "I didn't mean anything by it." The casual dismissal of what Jake saw as a profound betrayal cut deep. Jessica's words were a bitter cocktail of betrayal and nonchalance, and Jake couldn't believe what he was hearing. Despite her attempt to downplay the situation, Jake felt a crushing weight in his chest, a mixture of sadness, anger, and confusion. The days that followed were a blur for Jake. He grappled with the decision to stay or leave, but the realization that Jessica had not only been unfaithful but also dismissed his pain made his decision clear. After weeks of agonizing over the details and the future, Jake decided to file for divorce. The process was painful, but Jake felt it was the only way to regain his self-respect and dignity. Months passed, and Jake tried to rebuild his life. He focused on his work, reconnected with old friends, and began to enjoy his newfound independence. It wasn't easy, but Jake found solace in the routine and the support of those around him. Then, one crisp autumn day, Jake received an unexpected message. It was from Jessica, and it was filled with desperation and regret. She begged for a chance to talk, claiming that she had made a terrible mistake and that her actions were a result of her own insecurities, not a reflection of her feelings for Jake. Jake was skeptical but agreed to meet her at a local cafe. When Jessica arrived, she looked different, haggard and remorseful. She apologized profusely, explaining that she had been seeing a therapist and had come to terms with the gravity of her actions. Her eyes were filled with tears as she recounted her regret and how she had been struggling to move on without Jake. Despite her heartfelt apology, Jake remained guarded. He listened to her pleas but couldn't shake the hurt and betrayal he had felt. He appreciated her honesty and the effort she made to confront her mistakes, but the scars of their past were still fresh. In the end, Jake chose not to reconcile. He had worked hard to rebuild his life and wasn't ready to revisit the past. He thanked Jessica for her apology but made it clear that their relationship was over. As he walked away from that cafe, Jake felt a mix of relief and sadness. He realized that moving forward was the best choice for him, even if it meant leaving the past behind. Jessica's return and her heartfelt pleas were a reminder of the complexities of love and forgiveness, but for Jake, the road to healing lay in embracing his new beginning, free from the shadows of betrayal.